Hey, BigSwearRoadToRoad.com. Emergency broadcast. Um, no, not an emergency broadcast. But yeah, I'm not panicking because I know what's going to happen. I know it is happening. But the Fed is panicking. Absolutely 100%. First of all, welcome all you guys. Crypto Nana in the house. What up? My wife. Crypto Angels is here. What's up, buddy? Get ready for Vegas. Good to see you guys. Let's get to questions in a minute. I want to talk about what happened this morning. I put a video out on the repo market, how it was going crazy, 10%. Bitcoin Ben! 10% rates, overnight money. Overnight money. The Fed panicked and had an emergency liquidity put into the repo market, made available $75 billion. Now, this was unannounced, surprised everybody. As a matter of fact, there was a glitch. There was a glitch in the system. No, a glitch in the system. And then they canceled it, and then they did it again. You don't want this type of behavior from the Fed. It's 1,000 times worse behind the scenes. Now, if you're thinking, oh, 75 billion bails out the banks, no. First of all, this is a 24-hour repo operation. Reading it right here. The deal date, Tuesday, September 17th. Delivery date, Tuesday, September 17th. Maturity date, Wednesday, September 18th. It's the repo market. It's a $17-18 trillion market that happens overnight for cheap money. This is where the banks get their money. They didn't have anything. So this is an insta bailout. It does nothing in the long term as far as bailing out the banks, so you don't have to worry about that. But what it does say is that the Fed will be most likely dropping rates and announcing QE. QE, quantitative easing. So of the 75 billion that was offered, 52 billion was taken, meaning, and they don't tell you which banks. I can tell you who. JP Morgan, Citibank, all the big criminals who play in the repo market. It's 85 to 90% of the repo transactions that are done in the U.S. are by like the top 5 banks, top 6 banks. JP Morgan, Citibank, Wells Fargo. Why? Because that's where the cheapest money was. And all of a sudden you have a spike to 10%, and it was good night, baby. So they had to bail them out. This is so similar to what was going on in 2008. I'm not going to say, I'm going to say I told you so. So what goes on from here? We're looking at QE. We're looking at collapse of the derivative market. We're looking at bailouts. We're looking at 2008 on steroids. Same thing happened in 2008. Remember, it was September 11th that everybody was pulling money out, and it wasn't until the next week that Lehman failed, and then they had to go to Congress for the $700 billion bailout. This time it'll be $20 trillion bailout. Same thing is happening. Absolutely the same thing. Here's Zero Hedge's latest update. They if you want to learn about the repo market and the Fed bailouts that they can do, what they can do and what they can't do, go to Zero Hedge. The article is called $53.2 billion in QE light. Fed concludes first repo in a decade since the last collapse amid a liquidity panic. And then they tell you all about it. Then they say we have a problem in update number 3. The chaos is just getting worse minutes after the Fed announced that it would cancel today's repo operation due to technical difficulties. It said that it would hold a repo after all with a closing time of 10:10 a.m. And then finally they did do it. It was subscribed by 53 billion. It's over after a torrid 30 minutes in which the Fed first announced a repo operation, then announced the repo was canceled due to technical difficulties. Then mysteriously, the difficulties went away just minutes later. The Fed concluded its first repo operation in a decade, which, while not topping out the 75 billion max, was nonetheless significant at 53.15 billion. Now, this will continue. These are mini bailouts. The big ones have to go in front of Congress. And then it comes down to, will we the people decide to bail them out again? A lot of people saying, yeah. I don't see it. I don't see Congress agreeing on anything, and I don't see it being enough. We're going to need quadrillions, not 700 billion. 700 billion won't do it. They'll probably go to Congress for 20 trillion, and every bill will say, "What? I thought we fixed this problem." But we all know now. We all know what's going on. We all have seen the Big Short movie. We've read the books. We've seen the criminal banksters. This is in game, my friends. This is in game. So, what else? People have been asking of me about the silver market. Now that we have I talked about this morning in the Horn of Z's, we have a board member of the LBMA was one of the JP Morgan traders who got busted. The LBMA is a criminal operation, always has been. Same with the comics. They're going to have to shut down. Same with the Dow Jones. Same with the commodity markets, the bond market, all commodity markets. This is the end game. I don't know what to tell you. This was how it was set up to, the whole how do we destroy these bad guys? They're no one can get rid of them. You can give them enough rope to hang themselves, blow the derivative bubble into the quadrillions, and then voila, you got the end game. So very exciting times on the road to Ruta. A lot of the things we've been talking about, especially the oil call. If you watch my parts 1 and part 2 of the timeline, I talk about the oil derivatives being triggered. Now, here's some scary stuff. It might mean war. It might mean war in the Persian Gulf. It might mean war with Iran. It means massive loss of life. The Iranians will fire at every oil tanker going through the Strait of Hormuz and at Israel and anywhere their rockets can take them. When you're getting destroyed, obviously the U.S. military is a lot stronger. You're going to fire everything you got. Now, how many secret weapons does the U.S. have? I don't know, truthfully. I think they have an EMP if they want to use it. The destruction would be off the charts with an EMP. That would put Iran back into the Stone Ages for the rest of existence. But it can be done. All countries have a nuclear bomb. How to create an EMP is set off a nuclear bomb in the upper atmosphere above a country. It's not as from what Cliff was saying and what I've read, it wouldn't be as all encompassing unless you set off thousands of them. But you can set one off above a major city and completely zap out all electronics in that city forever until they're replaced, which is crazy. But hey, hopefully cooler heads will prevail. But I think I'd be interested to find out. Keep an eye on what Trump says. As far as it's all about the derivatives. You can say what you want. The whole attack on Saudi Arabia was all about the oil derivatives. I talked about that earlier. And it's all about the derivatives. Everything you do, it's the derivatives. So at the end of the day, the weapon of mass financial destruction is being detonated as we speak. The Fed meets for the next 2 days. I expect them to cut rates and announce QE, which will send the markets in turmoil again. But remember, they can rig it up, down, and sideways, so they might rig. I don't know if they're going to rig gold and silver higher or lower. I don't know if they're going to rig the Dow higher or lower. They have a plan. They can do anything they want. Click a mouse and put it at $0 or $1 million. They can put silver at $0 or $1 million. Then again, on the road to Ruta, what does it have? It has gold and silver taking out the banks. So I think silver is about to run that moonshot. Absolutely, Gary. The moonshot is coming for silver. But here's the problem. Will we even know it? With the COMEX shuts down, the LBMA shuts down, those are the only two exchanges for silver. So it won't be until the system restarts that we know prices. And that's the scary thing going into this. Yeah, cryptos could go down to $0 too, and because they won't be traded. You have the banks go down. No one's got any cash to buy cryptos. It gets complicated, but we have to take these bankers out. And the only way to do it is a creative destruction event. That's why it's so important. Have your cryptos in your own possession where you control the private key and only you have access to that key. in your own possession. Same with gold, same with silver. Everything else will not be available to you at all. So, Bitcoin ATMs, nah, I mean, if the banks go down, what are you going to pay with? There's no credit cards, there's no nada. Yes, it is scary, it is crazy, but if we don't do this, we give it to our kids and their kids like our parents gave it to us. So, and we have no choice. That's the beauty of Greenspan's plan in the late 90s was to take all regulation off derivatives to blow that bubble so big, guaranteeing that no one can bail it out. That's why we have quadrillions, some are saying hundreds of quadrillions in derivatives. And yeah, so we'll see what happens there. But obviously things are happening at a lot faster pace. I'm gonna call it the Road to Ruta timeline was correct. And we'll see how it plays out over the next 6 months, over the next week. You know, if the Fed didn't bail out the repo market today, it would have been over for the banks. That would have been it. Watch the Kanjorski interview. He says, we were hours away from collapsing in 2008. Same thing just happened. If the Fed didn't bail out, put out the 75 billion and 53 trillion, the banks would have collapsed. The same thing is going on. And how long did it take in 2008, on September 11th, the electronic run on the banks, how long did it take? It took 2 or 3 weeks to go to Congress and try to get a bailout. So I expect 2 to 3 weeks from now, they're going to be going to Congress and try to get a bailout. And the first time they asked for a bailout in the U.S., we said no. And the stock market dropped another 50% that next day. Is that going to happen again? I think we're going to say no. I think we have to say no. What does that mean? It means no more debt. That's a good thing. The debt is unsustainable. But yeah, it adds so many complications. Crazy complications. And no, it's not going to be a rocky dinar or a revaluation of the current system. Why would you want a revaluation of the current system? And it's not going to be a gold standard either. Not just because it's not very useful in a global economic system, but because the bad guys have all the gold. The banks have all the gold. Why would we go to a system that they control everything again? Especially this time they have cryptos. We have cryptos available to us. We have Litecoin is the right coin as a means of exchange. But that won't be proven out until after the crash and after the banksters die off or are killed, and we get to start fresh with something or a combination of something. We'll see what happens. All right. Yes, the Fed prints money with no accounting, absolutely. But the Fed is also trying to take down the banksters, believe it or not. Read the Road to Ruta documents. That's what Ruta's doing. She's taking down the bad guy banksters within the Federal Reserve. So, yeah. Veritasium might be the answer. Oh, my God. The Veritasium solution of peer-to-peer capital transactions, it is a fix. It is a fix. That's the scary thing, and I think that's why the SEC was so urgent on coming down Veritasium. They knew all this stuff was about to happen. So Veritasium will either go to zero or go higher than Bitcoin, probably fairly fast. Yeah, Fork Delta, I heard, is working on very small scales. It's tiny. Everything's tiny in the Veritasium world because the exchanges don't want Veritasium out there trading on their exchange because they know Veritasium could take the place of that exchange. So really interesting, high-level people in on the SEC Veritasium freeze right now. Did Reggie do bad things? I'm sure they'll get him for something. Does that mean Veritasium goes away, or does it clear Veritasium to be used in the future? Because once whatever charges come down on Reggie or whatever, say the U.S. confiscates his 98 million Veritasium tokens, then the U.S. can restart the system with Reggie's tokens. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go, but in Cliff's data, it has Veritasium working with the federal government in a new system, and Veritasium going one-to-one with Bitcoin. If that happens, wow, I'll be able to buy my flying RV. In case you guys are new to the Road to Ruta, my guilty pleasure purchase one day is going to be an RV. If all silver goes crazy and cryptos go crazy, I'm going to get myself an RV. I'm really excited about that, and it's going to be the coolest RV ever. And I really want it to happen because it's been a lot of hard work, and silver absolutely is massively undervalued. The really interesting thing now that it was been proven that J.P. Morgan was the ringleader of this conspiracy in silver. They are still the number one control position of all silver markets, including the SLV. They hold the inventory. They have inventory themselves of close to 1 billion ounces of physical silver. They are the largest derivative holders in U.S. banks, according to the OCC data. We've got all kind. I knew it. I knew this was going to happen when Blythe Masters stepped down as out of her crypto company that was going to take over for the DTCC. The writing was on the wall. I'm like, it's just a matter of time before they take down J.P. Morgan. Blythe Masters will go to jail, and Jamie Dimon will go to jail. If you don't believe me, wait. Wait by the end of the year, you're going to see perp walks for both those criminals. And if you saw my rant yesterday about Blythe Masters, that was pent up from 20 years of fighting silver manipulation and the 15 years fighting Blythe Masters herself. If you don't know who she is, J.P. Morgan employee, she was in charge of credit default swaps. She was really the one who promoted them and got them so big. So we can blame her for 2008. We can blame her again for the silver boom and then the destruction of the silver derivative market in 2019. So she gets a double whammy. She should be in jail for the rest of her life and her kid's life, if you ask me. She is evil. If you watch the video, oh my God. Oh, it's just conspiracy theory in the blogosphere. Well, we were right. We were 100% right. And there's other people who should go to jail as well, including Jeffrey Christian of CPM Group. I'm just saying, keep an eye on that one too. Off with their head, Richard Einstein. Off with their head. Did Bix ever go live? I'm live right now, as far as I know. I think, can everybody hear me? Are we good? Are we good? Time to bring the pitchforks. Yeah, there's going to be pitchforks for a lot of bankers, especially when the everyday Joe loses his checking and savings account. It's going to be crazy. Oh, Snippy had an update from his psychic friend to go fill your cars with gas this weekend, as something's bound to happen, according to his psychic, and you're going to have to be waiting in line for gasoline after next week, like long waits. So I don't know. But that's Snippy. Check out Snippy's channel. Oh my God, hysterical. He's been having a problem with his wife's minivan. He was towing a car or something. It broke down, and he's lying under the car trying to fix something, and it literally rolls over his legs and goes into a pond on his property. So he's injured at the moment. He'll be fine, but he's injured at the moment. Just love that guy. Can you just imagine Snippy lying under a car and getting rolled over? He's fine, though. He's fine. He's walking around. He got x-rays, and nothing was broken or anything. All right, let's go to some comments. I saw a million of them flying around, so I'm going to try to backtrack a little bit and see what I got. Holy moly. I don't even know where to start. All right, first of all, let's start with questions about, what do you think? Road to Ruta, the oil situation, war. Anything can happen. That's the thing. Anything can happen right now. All right, Bilkster71. So the banksters were effectively bailed out today. What happens tomorrow? Well, yeah, they were bailed out for 24 hours in the repo. And it wasn't a big bailout. It was a little. This is just the start. Remember, in 2008, it was all the banks failing. Right now, it's just a few in the repo market were like, oh my God, things are falling apart. And the Fed said, we have to fix this, or the next day would be 20%. So they brought the rates down to almost zero, and voila. Yeah, absolutely. This is not the end of the bailouts. This is the beginning of the bailouts. We will have a choice as people in the United States, which basically will take care of the world. If we say no to the bailout when they come to Congress And again, that number 20 trillion keeps sticking out. 700 billion back in 2008. I think it's going to be 20 trillion. I think they'll come to Congress probably in October at some point, early October, and say after the new QE is announced, they have to announce new QE. People are going to say, "What?" Well, first of all, let's do the math of $75 billion. $75 billion divided by 300 million, right? We just bailed out on this little tiny bailout. Every single person in the United States gave $250 to JP Morgan. What? Yeah. Wait, no. 250,000. Hold on, let me do that again. Yeah, $250,000. We all did it. Nice job. We loaned JP Morgan $250,000 each for 24 hours. That's a horrible credit. Why did we do that? Not cheap money. 10% not cheap money. Well, again, this is just overnight money. So 10% is the annual rate, but these banks can't handle it. When you're dealing in the U.S. market is 4 or 5 trillion per night. So it's a big number when they have to pay a lot of money. And now JP Morgan can buy more silver with our money. I know, that's amazing, huh? They can buy more physical silver with our money while they're shorting the COMEX and the LBMA because they haven't removed JP Morgan from the markets. Where's the CFTC? Where's the DOJ saying, hey, cease and desist order for JP Morgan's trading right now and all their co-conspirators? And there were a lot of them. What a racket, absolutely. Only mineable coins for cryptos. I think all kinds of cryptos, different blockchains will have different uses. For example, EOS is great for crypto kitties. We need something for crypto kitties. So that's not funny, Dix. I would like to say the XRP was going crazy today. I think because of, hey, Litecoin Rebel, thank you for the $4.99. Thank you for the super chats. I think XRP was going crazy because the banks, they want it to be Polly P. What are you doing? Towards a plane flight to Philly. I can't go to Philly. I wish you guys the best though. But XRP I think is going up because XRP lovers say, "Oh, we're the solution to the banks." Well, in reality, JP Morgan already invented an XRP, and they're getting people to sign up. Deutsche Bank signed up for their XRP, so I don't think XRP is going to be worth anything in the long run. Polly P, I would love to go to Philly with you guys. Give everybody a hug and a kiss for me and Amy. I know Amy would love to go. It's just a real haul right now, and I am so freaking busy. Absolutely crazy busy. And my son, I got my kid. So he's graduating, by the way, in May. And then me and Amy are free. All our kids are off on their own at that point, and we're talking to Bitcoin Ben and that gang about going on a road tour around the country from town to town in RVs. Hopefully I can buy my RV by then, and you guys can check out the coolest Road to Ruta RV ever. I got my eye on it, baby. I got my eye on it, but yeah, I'm going to have to see a home run on Veritasium to get that, baby. All right, hope there are lines at the gas station. Where's that one? I got 2 things going. I hope there are lines at the gas pumps. Maybe it will piss off Trump enough for him to release the free energy devices and screw them all. That is coming. All this hidden technology is coming. And it'll be good for society. And that whole Agenda 21 thing, that they say, oh, it's a conspiracy against you. All of those items are doable with the free energy. And so, it kind of takes away that dark cloud above humanity. Jordan Rameau. Thank you for the super chat, $6.99. 11 plus 9 is 20, September 20th. I know there's so much numerology you can mess with. I think it's already happening, but yeah, it could be any day. But then again, what are you referring to? I mean, what will happen? Nuclear war goes off and we all die, asteroid. I mean, it could be, oh, the repo market goes. Well, that went today. So, yeah, nobody knows. But it's all behind the scenes that this happens. It's all under control still. So when they're ready to click the mouse to destroy the system, they will do it. We probably won't even know about it until weeks later, like September 11th of 2008. All right. Bob Lyons, you gouge them and claw back all the gold and wealth the crime bankers stole in their racketeering schemes. I agree. I wouldn't say that's gouging them. I would call that justice. Yes, I don't think J.P. Morgan's going to run off into the sunset with their silver. I'm going to put my claim in that I am someone who deserves some of that silver, and I hope everybody out there who's fought the silver battle with me is ready to put their claim in and say, hey, I think I deserve some of that silver that they stole. But yeah, and then gold. There's so much gold in the Grand Canyon. And I was just looking at the Dianne Feinstein map of the desert wildlife preserves in California. 41% of California is blocked off by the federal government. A huge chunk of that is Dianne Feinstein's desert nature preserve, or whatever it is down south in the biggest gold country in the world. Chocolate Mountains in there. Oh, it's just crazy. So there's going to be a lot of gold available. It'll still be, there's a hell of a lot more U.S. dollars, but there'll be a lot of gold. Turning Japanese, thank you for the super chat. They have to disarm us before the collapse. I think that whole thing with disarming, Rainy Steps, thank you. That just, the people who talk about, it's a false flag to disarm us of our guns. I think it's the exact opposite. I think they're trying to arm us. I think those false flags, they're obviously fake. A lot of these school shootings and stuff, but it's clear to me that they're trying to arm the public, because after every time they don't pass any laws to prohibit guns, and oh, by the way, everybody runs out and gets a gun, so they load up on more guns because they think the laws are going to change. So yeah, I would expect to see another false flag shooting where they say we're going to take the guns, and everybody gets and runs and gets more guns. All right, hey Bix, it's Chris. How are you? Hope you're doing well. I'm doing well, Chris. Thank you. I'm doing actually pretty well considering all the work that's been going on at the Road to Ruta lately. And Amy's holding up well. I think Amy needs to do orchestrate another cleanse, a mini cleanse before the Vegas meetup. Would be really cool. Hey Paul, thank you for the $20, bud. Just wanted to say that the only reason I found you was because of Dave over at X22 Spotlight. I bought your PDF for the Road to Ruta, and it was an eye-opener. I'm a huge silver bug and own Litecoin 4-1 in my mind. Thanks. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love Dave at X22. We've been working together for a hell of a long time. Before cryptos, I think is my first interviews with Dave, and he's very big into gold and silver, especially silver. We've usually talked about silver. He's coming around kind of on the cryptos, but definitely silver, and he's going to do really well in the silver explosion. So yeah, everybody should subscribe to X22. He gets a lot of the same YouTube stuff, YouTube shadow banning and demonetization, all that stuff. He gets a lot of that because he deals with real stuff. And yeah, we do real stuff. All right. Bill Beck. It was his Jeep. What are we talking about? You want to hear something funny? Snippy's Jeep. I thought it was his wife's minivan. I don't know, one of those. But here's something funny. Me and Ben and Snippy are buddies, and we all have Jeeps. I thought that was cool. Snippy's is, I think Snippy's is the oldest. Mine's second oldest, and Bitcoin Ben has a new fancy one because he's so fancy. All right, the Democrats want to take away our guns, not Trump. I wouldn't worry about it. Guarantee Trump gets back in. I don't know. I don't know if the Democrats want to take away the guns, because if they do, they're going about it all wrong. Every time they orchestrate one of these false flags, if it's them or most of them are in on it, what do people do? They go buy guns. So and they haven't. They could pass some laws to ban guns, but they haven't. So I think it's a plot behind a plot to arm America because they know the more armed we are, the better off we are on if anybody tries to invade us, but mainly from our government. But also remember the military and the police, they're us. So, if a president says, oh, go out and shoot some people because they're not giving up their guns, police aren't going to do it. Military's not going to do it. They know how criminal the politicians are these days. So, yeah, I think it's great that the entire United States is massively armed. It protects us just by having it. It's one of those deterrents. They're not going to come after us. No country's going to invade us. Unless we don't have any guns, then yeah, we're sitting ducks. All right, let's see where we are. Oh, somebody's writing in Japanese, I think. Maybe not. I don't know what that is. Our government has sold us out to the Bolsheviks in China, probably. Doesn't mean we can't take it back. Yeah, we've been under their control. We've been sold out. But, it's the old Dick Allgaier theory. He believes he's helpless. I don't believe that at all. I think it is up to us to free our country and our children from these criminals. And with the derivative implosion, yeah, we can do it. We can absolutely do it. Oh, it's Japanese. Cool. I have yet, well, I think I flew in and out of a Japanese airport, but I've yet to spend any time in Japan. I've been to Singapore, but I'd love to go to Japan. A meetup in Japan would be a hoot. They love their cryptos. All right. Stock up on ammo. Absolutely. Ammo. Another good thing about ammo is that it's great for barter. You got to get like shotgun cartridges and things that are normal. Don't get this big monster. I don't even know calibers and all that. All I know is I have enough guns to protect myself and my family. All right. What else we got? I know, I look professional because I got my Road to Ruta background on. Yeah, I thought this was a big one because I've been talking about this for a long time, and it's actually happening, and it's exciting, and I know a lot about this stuff because I've been studying it for 20 years. I've been fighting this battle for 20 years, long before the crypto stuff. Back then, gold and silver were our only other forms of money we could have gone to, but now we got cryptos, and I think the U.S. government is planning on that. So, is my hat finally popped? No, actually, I bought when I wanted to be a rock star. I bought a whole bunch of swag, so I had all these hats, and they're distressed hats. If you look at it, it's like those jeans that come pre-ripped and stuff. It's crazy. My take on the silver price: if the exchanges stay in business and it is freely traded, it should go over $600 an ounce. I don't think the exchanges at $100 an ounce, all the derivative players are done, so it's kind of hard for it to stay in position. I hold silver, I hold cryptos for after the crash, not before, not during, but after. That's my take, at least. I'm hodling, buddy, as you and Cliff suggested. Yes, absolutely. Cliff. Oh, by the way, Cliff had a couple posts on his YouTube channel, which is rare. So go check those out. I haven't been able to watch all of them, but anything Cliff says is very interesting to me. I did hear him say he has a secret plot to take over the world, and I think I'm helping him with one of those plots. I need to get with Cliff. I know Three Amigos needs to be done again, so I'll get with Cliff and Joe. I'll call him. I'll call him this week and see if we can do something. Dav Saldi, good post by Cliff. Give him a listen. Absolutely. 0x Bitcoin. Is that like 0x? I have a 0x. But yeah, that's tech. A tech type of chain that all I heard it was cool, so I didn't fully understand it, but I have it and I'm holding pretty much all my cryptos. Some are doing well, some are not. Some could be the home runs of a lifetime, and two of those, one is Veritasium. It's either worth 0 or a home run of a lifetime, and the other is Theta, which I'm giving away right now at the Road to Ruta for every subscription, 100 Theta and 500 Theta fuel. Yeah, I think Theta will be a really big one. And remember, it was post ICO, so it has no SEC problems. I think Samsung is going to adopt the Theta blockchain. That's what my gut is telling me. If I was a psychic, that's what my gut would say. Is that Samsung, because they're looking for a native blockchain, they're a huge investor in Theta, and can you imagine if Samsung, like the second largest iPhone company, says, "Oh, we're going to use the Theta blockchain for all our products"? Holy moly! And Michelle White Dove says Theta's going up in the thousands. Wait, what can you get it for today? 11 cents. So yeah, I'm gonna get that RV. Damn it. Gary Carlson, Hurt Data is gonna be great, and Digibyte. I like Digibyte, but it competes with. It's not as good as Litecoin for the future with the Lightning Network. It's not as good as Bitcoin Cash, but it's good. It'll be used. But the way they scale up, I'm not really. I was never really a fan of it because it can't go huge all of a sudden. Which I think Litecoin with the Lightning Network can. Now, whether or not the Lightning Network can be up and running, there was a bug the other day. There's a bug in everything. Cryptos are anti-fragile. It's software. You're gonna have bugs, and then every time you fix it, you get stronger than the time before. So I'm not worried, and I do think it'll be ready by the time it is needed. It's ready now. It's just all the nodes aren't fully filled out because you don't need it. You don't need a means of exchange yet, but we will. Jane says, explain about Theta and Theta gas and what do we need them. Snippy did a great Theta YouTube video. It's basically broadband streaming of videos and data. And you can mine it, use your computer, rent out your computer space so you don't have all that buffering issues in the future. It's decentralizing broadband, basically. I think, yeah, something like that. And then Theta Fuel is used for the miners. It's used as gas, just like on Ethereum. It's really amazing technology. I've used that blockchain a lot because I'm giving away Theta and Theta Fuel tokens. It's really fast. And very, very, very few failures at all. I think I've had one, but I think I made the mistake because sometimes you'll send a transaction, it just doesn't go through for one reason or another. The network is too clogged or something. But I love that. That's my favorite blockchain to use right now. But Litecoin I don't use that much because I'm a hodler. So Chris Knutson, Salt. Yeah, Salt is. I don't know what to say. They've done what they said they were going to do. We're going to build a crypto lending platform, and they're up and running. And from all accounts, it's going great. But the price of the token, they've had a lot of attacks from banks and things like that. So the price of the token isn't moving yet. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. What just happened, Bix, for those who just joined? You're going to have to go to the beginning. $75 billion repo market bailout of the banks because the repo market was failing, which is the overnight market. So $53 billion was taken up of the 75. And that's just the beginning. The same thing happened in 2008. So there's your summary. All right, let's take a look at some of these. Digibyte is going nowhere. First of all, you guys got to know the prices you see on cryptos, on gold, silver, the stock market, the bond market, it's all rigged. It's all rigged. It's 100% rigged. So if you're looking at price, you're not really thinking about this the right way for any reason because it's 100% rigged. So if you have a little hedge fund can rig the price of a Digibyte or they have multi-millions. Many have billions of dollars to rig markets. They don't care what the price is. They care how many coins they can get. They're rigging the Bitcoin market right now. It's a multi-billion, $100 billion market, and they're rigging it no problem. Especially the Fed can rig any market. Yeah, they have trillions, quadrillions that they can create out of thin air, which we just saw. Now the question is, does the Fed want to save the system, or does the Fed want to destroy the system? According to the Road to Ruta documents, the Fed wants to destroy the system. So that's where I am. That's the good guys' plan. Oh, we got 300 likes. Awesome. Hey, give me a like and one of these, thumbs up. And click the little bell button if you want to get notified, because I'm going to do a lot more of these emergency things as the next bailout comes, and the next bailout, and then the arrests come, and the perp walk of Blythe Masters and Jamie Dimon is going to be a beautiful sight for humanity. A beautiful sight. Although some people say that Blythe and Jamie Dimon are already on Kinlay's Island with Jeffrey Epstein and all that. I don't know. Hey, anything's possible these days, and if Blythe Masters and Jamie have a dual heart attack the same night, and all of a sudden and they get cremated within 12 hours, then you know something is afoot again. What about a mortgage? If the banks fail, the mortgages fail as well. So mortgage goes away. You won't have secure title to your house, but nobody's going to care at that point. Yes, there's a lot of messiness in the destruction of a global fiat monetary system. It is beyond messy. But if you have a house, that's great. If you have a mortgage, it's going to go away if the banks crash. How do you secure your house? With a gun. If you have a house, you should have a gun, so no one comes squatting on your property. It's going to be very simple. We're going to have to take care of ourselves. No more nanny state. No more health care for all. No more nothing. You take care of yourself. Our troops will all be brought home, hopefully, if they can get home. I'm sure they can with the military's transportation system. Come home, and if we need military on the borders, we got military all over the world. Why not protect our own country? It's really easy to do, and I've been saying that for a long time. We shouldn't be in every other country. We shouldn't be messing with their. Let them all figure out their own shit. Right? We got enough problems to worry about, and that was always the plan. Back in the 30s, after they discovered the gold in the Grand Canyon, the idea was to create this Federal Reserve System and use everybody else's natural resources before we use our own. That's why we lock up everything in California and in Alaska. Gull Island is the largest oil depository in the world, and nobody's been able to touch it since the 60s. That was always the plan. And then when the final day comes, as the system, fiat money system is destroyed, which is coming very fast, then we close our borders, stop trading with people, and we use our own natural resources. Nicky Nick, thanks for the $10, dude. Yeah, that's what Ruta wrote in the sand. Read the Federal Reserve Bank comic book, Road to Ruta, A Teacher's Guide. That's what they talk about. They talk about whether or not we're going to nationalize the mines and have just the government be mining metals, or should it be private? But if it's private, will they be too rich? It's extremely complicated. Read the Teacher's Guide. This is a teacher's guide to a Federal Reserve Bank comic book for kids to teach them about scarcity. And there are hundreds of questions that it raises. It's crazy. It's supposed to be the teacher's guide. Why is it asking questions? Silver Energy, dude, thank you for the $10. Bix, I did a video on the topics where I tied your work to Joseph Farrell's book. Cool. Implicates JP Morgan in weather warfare even further. You can see it on my channel. Hope this adds some new dimension. Cool. Silver Energy 369. Go check out what he's got. Absolutely, the weather warfare. I'm not an expert in it, but there's a lot of experts in it. I forgot the name. It's quite a few. The weather guy I was listening to for a long time. I think Cliff High even interviewed him for a while, or one of my guys. No, it was Greg Hunter. I like Greg Hunter too, by the way. He's really cool. All right, I haven't been on Greg's show. Maybe he'll have me back. I'm a little too conspiracy for him. But I was on for quite a while when I was talking about gold and silver. And then, when I split with Gata, because I, said, hey, the Fed's on our side, that was kind of, a lot of the gold bugs that didn't sit well with them, even though I showed them all the information. And then when I split with the, gold and silver only into cryptos. A lot of the old schoolers like, oh man, Bix, you're killing it with the cryptos. It's not going to work. It's not backed by anything. Hopefully, I have shown that, yeah, I was right on that one. At least so far, right? Cryptos are stronger than ever. And there's more of a reason to use them now that the Fed is doing the crazy stuff, giving people $75 trillion. All right, yeah, USA Watchdog Today. Greg Hunter. Awesome guy. Looking for first purchase on Coinbase. What would you suggest? Litecoin is the right coin as a means of exchange. Yeah, I'd go like Charlie Lee says buy Bitcoin first. I don't. I say Litecoin first. But probably a smart play would be 50% Litecoin, 25% Bitcoin, 25% Ethereum. If you're just starting out. That I guess. I don't know. Something like that. You won't go wrong with all three of those. Monty Matthews, thank you for the $10. Thank you guys for the super chats. Again, when people give me a hard time for charging, and I'm a capitalist, I jump up and down about capitalism. I think capitalism has saved humanity, not hurt humanity. So as a capitalist, when you work for a living, you say, hey, pay me if you like my work, that type of thing. And I get like some people don't want to, put ads in. Some people don't want to charge for their services, but that just means they're getting it from somewhere else. They're getting their living expenses from somewhere else, which is fine. But this is what I do for a living. So thank you for the super chat, Monty. All right. Any thoughts on privacy coins? Yes, privacy coins, you either like them or hate them. You don't hate them, but you think the biggest problem with privacy coins is that's the first coins that the U.S. will target. The governments will target. But will it really matter if the system falls down? Because we're not going to put the same people in charge, right? We won't have the same people running our world if the system falls apart. Those people will either be in jail or be discredited for not seeing it ahead of time. Truthfully, I might be president next year because I saw it ahead of time. No, I wouldn't say me, but there are people who, in the background, what I call the good guys, who are actually doing the hard work behind Trump. No, Trump is not the one. Trump is a figurehead. He's the bull in the china shop that they put out there to run cover and keep everybody's head spinning while the real work was being done behind the scenes, in my opinion. All right. Let's see what we got. Berwick for president. Berwick, he would hate to be president. He doesn't like government at all. He says no government. Everybody should be free to do whatever the hell they want at any time they want. And I lean more and more to that. But we do need protection. And just go back to the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. It's all there. That's what we need to do, is go back to that. Maybe some tweaks to update it a little bit. But we've been off that situation, off that framework for so long. That's why criminals like Jamie Dimon are still walking around. Yeah. 400 likes. Holy moly. That's crazy. Thank you guys. Thanks for the likes. Yeah, I knew this would be a big one because, I mean, how often do the banks get bailed out by the Fed? Well, the last time was 10 years ago. And what happened 10 years ago? The only way to end that, well, there's two ways to end it. Number one, after the September issue, they bailed out the banks in October, and then it still didn't fix anything. Jerry, thank you. I'll get back to you on that super chat 1 second. They still didn't fix anything until November, December, January, February, March. It was March that they all came out at the same time, the head of the Fed, Treasury, and said, we've bottomed. And I knew at that point they were going to rig the markets higher, and that started the artificial bull market. So yeah, that was 6 months. So what's this time? It's going to be a long time before this is over, if it doesn't just end all of a sudden. So we'll see. Jerry, €5. Thank you. Hey Bix, thanks for your work. Any thoughts on Cardano? Not a lot. It's kind of an Ethereum offshoot by one of the guys who invented Ethereum. I think I heard it was mostly Asian influenced. They're going to use it big over there. I don't know all that much about it, and I don't own any of it. I know that Crypto Chico does not like it because of the guy who spun off from Ethereum that he doesn't trust. So I don't know though. I have no idea. That's the thing. There's so many cryptos out there. If I buy anything, I'd have to sell another one that I understand and I've been involved with. So it might be a great coin that I don't have or a great project, but I'm not going to sell something that I have already done the homework and time in on, especially when it's not the peak of the market type of thing. So that's my take. All right, let's see where we are. Love, peace, light, and truth. Italy, oil refinery explosion, full court press, game on. Yeah, you're going to see, unfortunately, we're going to see a lot more of that. More targeted strikes against oil facilities. They're trying to destroy the derivative market and the oil price. Oil is the largest traded commodity, physical commodity, and derivative commodity. So, yes, it is a monster. So, yes, absolutely go get your gas tanks filled up. And keep some in your garage if you have a gas canister. Don't blow up your house or anything like that. Will Very be 1-to-1 with Bitcoin? If the U.S. government adopts it as a fix to our criminal exchanges, yes, it will. If the U.S. government says this is a fraud, we're going to shut it down, then it'll go to zero. So, truthfully, we're getting to that point. It's going to be either one or the other. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to go 1-to-1 right away. It would take, first of all, a resolution of the case in Veritasium with the SEC. And then second of all, an announcement that the U.S. government is using the technology. And then third of all, an adoption of it throughout markets throughout the world. So, I mean, we're talking years down the line would it go 1-to-1 with Bitcoin. But I think it will. I really do. Crypto Angels, bud, thank you. $2. 600 likes for the best song, Litecoin. Hey, is there a contest? What's the best crypto song out there? I wanna be involved in that contest. There's a couple crypto artists out there. A lot of rap. I don't understand rap. And then people doing kind of like covers, taking the tune from like American Pie and saying bye bye Miss Cardano Pie or something like that. But yeah, I think more music is better. Chef Jay's Reef, $5. Thank you. Can I get some reassurance? Sure. I'll pat you on the head. Every time I call Perpetual Assets, they don't answer. Seems shady. No. Call Will there. Leave him a message. Say, Bick said call you right away. Leave him a message. He'll get back to you. They are not shady at all. They're 100% cool. And is there a penalty to roll over and take possession? No, there is not. You have to do it a certain way, and it's a bit of paperwork, but that's what they do. So ask for Will there. And everybody out there, it takes like a month to do, so better hurry up if you're going to do any kind of rollover. But there aren't penalties. You're just rolling it. It's like rolling it over from Fidelity to a Schwab retirement account, except you're the manager and you keep the assets in your own possession. So yeah, Will and Gus down there will take care of you. Just if they haven't gotten back to you, I'm sure they're extremely busy right now. So yeah, just say, hey, you haven't got back to me, and Bick said you take care of me first. Of course, everybody's listening to this, so they're all going to call Will. You're supposed to take care of me first. Let's see. One guy said Veritasium doesn't need the USA. Crypto MacDad 2. Veritasium doesn't need the USA. The USA needs Veria. Well, absolutely. But in the same breath, the road to riches will be a lot smoother if the U.S. was very kind to Reggie and Veritasium. I think they have a plan anyway behind the scenes, and it might be to get their hands on the majority of Veritasium because Reggie's got the vast majority, 98 million coins of the 100 million. And it's not like he didn't offer them up for sale. Nobody bought them. It was me and Cliff buying them in the early days in Snippy. He offered 51 million tokens in the ICO, and only sold 2 million. So people didn't have the insight that they couldn't see out far enough as Cliff saw it. And it was Cliff's data that really got me into it. And then knowing what I know about the exchanges and the criminality, I mean, when these exchanges go down, there's going to be a solution needed, absolutely needed. And Veritasium's a good solution. I'm sure there'll be other solutions too. But yeah, that's my take. All right. 23 likes in New Zealand. Awesome. Bitcoin Ben had talked about a tour down under, and we got a good friend in New Zealand, Christoph, who many of you know. Maybe Road to Ruta will head out to New Zealand this summer. Amy's like, yes, we're there. She's booking the flights. That's my wife and getting on the road. She loves to travel. All right. Sean is long-winded, but you want to own it. That's Sean. I don't know. Okay. I missed out on the early Very. Was so disappointed. Why not get it now? I mean, Very went up to $450. That was early Very, and it's now $14? I think. No, it's so early. Oh my god! But it could go to zero. So I mean, it's one of those things. Of course, we all wish we bought Bitcoin when it was 5 cents. But don't you wish you bought Bitcoin when it was $200? I did. I was screaming at people to buy Bitcoin at $200. 2 years from now, when it's $1 million a coin, you should be screaming at people right now buying Bitcoin at $10,000 a coin. It's all time. That's why hodlers always win. Hodlers always win if you pick the right coin. All right, let's see. Bitcoin and Robin. Many people are very salty. Cliff, Bix, and Snippy not so populous anymore since we dumped. Theta down too. Litecoin is not the right coin. Well, Bitcoin and Robin, just like I said. First of all, you make your own decisions. If you bought all those and you're worried that they won't do anything in the future, sell them. Nobody's twisting your arm. You're an investor. You're a big boy or a big girl. Go ahead. Sell them. Don't blame people for the cryptos being down. I think all of them will do well in the future. I said the same thing when Bitcoin was $200. People go, oh, Bix, you know what you're talking about. I went from $1,000 to $200. You're an idiot. You lost me all my money. I'm like, sell. Go away. We don't need you. It's just dumb. Well, I shouldn't say that because a lot of people who invest in cryptos aren't really investment people. I was in finance for years. Absolutely. When do you buy? You buy when people say comments like this. Oh, nothing's working. That's when you buy, and you sell when say, oh, I know, I'm an expert. Then you sell if you're a trader. So that's that for that. All right. XRP up 14%. Absolutely. They think they're going to solve the banker's problem. I don't think there'll be any banks to have XRP solve any problems. But hey, Bakkt is coming. That's so sad that Bakkt is coming. Yeah, I think, well, there's pros and cons to Bakkt. The cons are it is a con machine. It is a tool of the crypto price manipulators. It is a derivative market that they're going to sell. I guarantee you. How many Bitcoin are out there right now? 17 million or so? They're going to be doing that almost daily on that criminal exchange. But you can't stop it. So, and I'm sure they'll say, oh, that's why the price of Bitcoin went up. It's because of the Bakkt system. That's not why. Because they rigged it higher or rigged it lower. Public Awakening, thank you. Been listening since 2006. Holy moly, an old schooler. Awesome. Although I wasn't on YouTube back then. I was writing for Le Metropole Cafe in 2006. You must be a cafe person. What is Bix Weir? I have no idea. Sometimes I wake up, I ask that same question. Let's see. Jim Sinclair's Philosophy by When Unpopular. I love Jim. Jim Sinclair. I learned a lot from Jim. And Jim and myself, Bill Holter, and Cliff High had a great interview about they wanted to have a discussion about gold versus cryptos. And we had a great discussion. Go back and find that one. That'll blow you away. Because we were asked to go first. They're like, cryptos are, a joke. tell us about them. We told him about him. The first thing, Bill Holter was kind of surprised. The first thing Jim said was, "Oh my God, I get it now." But great guys. Public Awakening, you the man. Thank you. Marco Z, $4.99. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for everything you do in supporting the Road to Ruta. And it's kind of like, damn, Amy told me the quote too. I was quoting Ratatouille. It's the defense of the new that people really put their heads out and put your head on line. So, defense of the new. And it's not easy to do. So, thank you for supporting me out there. The Ran 1984 Big Spuddy sold my EOS one late Sunday night in April 2018 at $20.13. You demand. Thank you. You know, you get some people who say you screwed me, and some people say, oh, you did it, and the only winners are the hodlers at the end of the day. So yeah, EOS. I did a lot of work on that, and then I was banned from talking about it, understandably from their point of view, and those are not the kind of people you want to mess with, so I just dropped it. And it's already done. It's software. It's out in the public. There's nothing that can be done about it now. Although it's centralized, so there's probably things that can be done about it. At Road to Ruta, check out, this is from Martin. Check out Cliff's May 2018 report on Very, page 25 and 26. It reads as though as if it's real time. I know. Some of these data hits from Cliff High are just spooky. But I will check that out. Amy, can you write that down for me? The May 18th Very report from Cliff. Really cool. Let's see. S Scam 2001. If you have no silver, buy 3 ounces and you'll have more than 99% of the population. I would say 1 ounce and you have more than 99. Nobody has any idea what's going to happen in silver or why. And I really came to a realization the other day. Is like, when is big money ever made? It's by buying something that the world doesn't even know about or hates. That's, with this Veritasium stuff, everybody's like, oh my God, I got to sell my Veritasium. It was down at like $4, and I'm like, okay, fine, I'll buy some more. It might go to zero. But I don't think it is. From what I see, from Cliff's data, from the Road to Ruta stuff, from my knowledge about these exchanges and how they're going to go down, and how will they be fixed? It is a software just like Veritasium that can fix this problem. I'm just saying. That's what I got to say. Who is a good provider to use for crypto mining? I wouldn't join a mining pool if you paid me. No third-party risk. If you can do your own mining, yeah, you can go buy a mining unit and do that. But don't enter into any of these pools. No reason. I mean, if you're not technologically savvy enough to do it yourself, you probably shouldn't be investing in the mining industry, the crypto mining industry. If you want to do it for fun, you can take your laptop or a computer and run the Theta Fuel, what do they call it? I forgot the name. You can mine Theta Fuel. It's real easy to do. Snippy did a video on that, so go check out his video there. Wow, all these messages getting deleted. Oh, it must be a hater. Yeah, you don't hate on my channel. I got a lot of people who will delete you. And I'd be deleting if I had time. I don't have any problem with deleting haters. There's plenty of places you guys can go to express your opinion. No problem. But I get a lot of trolls, too. And trolls, they just suck up time and energy and effort. And it's, it is what it is. You can drink gold and silver. Absolutely. I can drink Bitcoin, too. Or Litecoin. You just put it on a paper wallet, stir it up, put it in a blender, take a little swig. I do. I take colloidal silver. Absolutely. JK, I adore you. Thank you. I'm on a roll right now. They ain't changing my mind. Good. Mike Ike. Cliff A wrong. Cliff is always. Come on, Mike. Don't delete him. Apparently he hasn't been studying the WebBot program for a long time, and he's angry that he bought it. $400 Veritasium and it fell down. So Eh, whatever, dude. Glicks. Bix eats, sleeps, Bitcoin, gold, and silver. Ask my wife. Faux real. Ask my wife. She will agree with you 100%. Yeah, but I every once in a while, there are times when I'm needed and times when I'm not needed. I think in this battle for the last 6 months, I think I've been needed. When everybody's saying, "Oh my God, the banks are crashing," that's when I'll step back and say, "Okay, I'm not needed that much because everybody can see what's happening finally." Uh, Bix, you're over the target. Look at all the trolls following you. I know. I know. I was pissed off when I was watching Cliff's video, his live chat, because all the trolls. Oh my God, it was troll central over there, and he doesn't care about the chat room. He doesn't have any moderators like deleting anybody. I'm like, oh Cliff, you got to get me in there as a moderator. I'd like delete half the people, but he doesn't care. He wants it in there. Big secretly loves his XRP. I did own XRP briefly as a trade. I don't know if you guys remember that video I did a long time ago. And I was all excited because I made a couple grand on a trade of XRP, and I did a video about it. Um, no, I'm not a fan of XRP, not because of the technology or the trolls. They got a lot of excuse me XRP lovers, um, but I just don't think the banks will be around to utilize the technology at all. That's it, and it's huge market cap. So if there's no banks around, even an XRP person will say, well, yeah, then XRP is useless if we don't have banks. I hope you XRPs, right? All right. What does Amy think of Brexit? Ah, yeah, there you go, Amy. Give us your thoughts on Brexit. What's the latest? She's reading this newspaper. Oh, what is it, Amy? What's that newspaper you're reading that shows up at our? What's she talking in Japanese now? She reads this newspaper. It's like it's really good. It's all full of epic times. We get it like daily now. It's all full of conspiracy stuff. So you can chime in if you want on the Brexit stuff. Is 1,500 troy of physical silver enough? You know, I get that all the time. What's enough? I have no idea what enough is. It depends on your situation. Depends on your enough for what. You know, to survive a collapse. I don't know. I don't know what enough would mean to you. And some people, you know, $500 is enough, and other people say I need $50,000 to be enough. So it's all up to you, really. But you do want to have some silver, and you want to have some cryptos. You want to have some food and some guns and some water and some gasoline for this weekend, according to Snippy. So keep an eye out for that. Crypto Angels, most XRP fans are bots. I couldn't argue against that, probably. Because remember, JP Morgan has hundreds of people trolling the chat rooms. It's crazy. Hundreds of people. And they pay him pretty well, I hear. That FASB 56. Yeah, I don't know. Will that save a derivative meltdown? I don't think any rule or regulation will save it. There'll be so much anger that we allowed it to happen again. They're going to throw politicians out. Even Ken Jaworski said it would have changed our political system. It would have changed the economic system. It would have changed the banking system. It's a big deal if these banks go down and if the derivative bubble goes off. It's a big deal. 1,500 ounces is more than 97% of the population holds. True. No, well, see, there'll be a lot of attempts at recycling. Like you don't think about it now, but like flat screen TVs, there's 2 ounces of silver in the large flat screen TVs. Can you melt it down and get those 2 ounces out? No, not at $18, $19 an ounce, but at $20,000 an ounce, absolutely. You'd be melting down your TV to get the $40,000 out of it. So everything is price determinant as far as with silver, as far as recycling. But right now it's so cheap that they put it in flat screen TVs and cell phones, and they put it in solar panels, and we consume silver. That's the weird thing. We do. we put in such little pieces that you can't recycle it. It's not economically feasible unless the price of silver goes up over $1,000. And then, yeah, you'll be trying to find your old iPhone and say, oh my God, there's a tenth of an ounce of, or a hundredth of an ounce of silver. How much is in an iPhone? That I can get out and make some money. So, yeah. Let's see. Xanadu. Everyone should melt their TV anyway. I like that. Yeah, no, I like to watch, I don't watch any mainstream stuff, but there's some good movies. I like to, binging on some of those. Amy, what was that one I was just watching recently? I'm way behind the times, but I watched it with my son for quite a while. It was that, what was it called? Game of Thrones. There you go. That was it. I watched that. I'm like, this is really cool. It was. So yeah, I need my TV for that. I guess I can watch it on my computer, huh? Randall, 90% of all Bitcoin are stored in dead wallets. Those are wallets that no longer have access to their private keys. Look at the collapse in transaction use. That's so wrong. How do you know it's a dead wallet? How do you know that someone doesn't have the private key? Please, Randall, please enlighten us how you know that someone doesn't have the private key for 90% of Bitcoin. Come on, Randall, I'm looking. 90% of Bitcoin, of all Bitcoin, are stored in dead wallets, according to this guy, Randall Beck. Those are wallets that no longer have access to their private keys. Mine is dead also. Dead hold. Come on, Randall. Please explain. Please explain to us. We're all on the edge of our seats. Where's Randall? Oh my God. He's got the secret FUD that we didn't know about. There he is, completely dead. That's not an answer, dude. Completely dead. They will never be transferred again. Come on. How do you know this? Come on, Randall. Give it to us. School us. I have secret FUD. Oh my God, so funny. It's so funny. It's so ridiculous. But hey, that's why we're here, right? To have a little fun, have a little good time while people try to throw out FUD about cryptos. Hey, if I listened to FUD in the early days, I wouldn't be sitting with any cryptos at all. If I listened to FUD about silver, I wouldn't be sitting with any silver. You got to do your own research. And guys like that who say, 90% of the Bitcoin wallets could never be opened and are gone. Well, first of all, that'd be the greatest thing ever for Bitcoin, right? 90% of all the coins. Actually, it would mean we wouldn't have 21 million coins anymore, right? We'd have 3 million. It'd be even worth more. Supply and demand. Ridiculous. Completely stupid. But hey, we move on. All right. Canadian maple leaves are running out. Limits on purchases. 10-ounce bars from RCM are not available. Silver Eagles to follow suit. I've been through so many silver run-out phases. Now, I used to write letters to the U.S. Mint, and yes, if they ran out and it was really needed, J.P. Morgan would supply it in the background. We're not running out of silver because nobody's buying silver right now. You want to see it run out of silver? Drop the price to $10 or jack the price to $50. If silver stays in a range, nobody gets interested at all in silver. So I've heard it so many times that, the mint is out of silver. Yeah, the mint cuts off silver. You know who was buying all that silver for the last 10 years out of the mint? JP Morgan, and sticking it in their vaults. And they were remelting it. That's how secretive they wanted to be. So, somebody wanted to know more about the oil and the oil derivatives and the false flags. It's if you watch my second timeline video, I talk about the oil derivatives, and that was published back in June. So check that one out. It's huge. It's gigantic. Again, oil is the largest commodity bought and sold. The petrodollar was a way to... I'm going to talk about this in the Friday road trip for all you private road members, because this is so knee deep in the Road to Ruta stuff with the black tears that the flowers were crying out. And yes, it's and Gusher National Bank. You Road to Ruta people know what I'm talking about. Gusher National Bank. Oh my God. I'm going to talk about that on Friday at the private road. If you guys want to join the private road, go to roadtoruta.com. Absolutely. All right. I do have to get going. We've gone for almost an hour and a half. So that's where we are. This is an update on as the derivative world is melting down. The banks are going into crisis mode. There's no green shoots anywhere to be seen. They can rig the market, so don't expect silver to go crazy until it's time. Don't expect gold to go crazy. Don't expect the cryptos to go crazy until it's time. Don't expect the stock market to crash. They rig it with computer programs. So I don't know where it all ends up, but all I can tell you, it's going to get worse before it gets better. How long have I been saying that? Bitcoin Ben used that the other day. Bick says it's going to get worse before it gets better. It's going to get a lot worse and a lot faster than it has been recently. All right. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for showing up. And I'll see you tomorrow morning at the Horn of Z's, bright and early. Talk to you guys later.